Hello everyone, I'm Mark Daniel Patrick. Thank you so much for checking out the channel and for joining me on here. Just before we get started, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and you can also find me at my Patreon page. We have over 250 reaction videos there that do not and will never appear on YouTube. You can find the link to join in the description below. I feel like we spend so much time debating or arguing about what is the greatest musical theater show of all time. What is the greatest musical theater number of all time? There are a number to choose from in Hamilton that are maybe the best Hamilton numbers of all time, the best numbers that Lin-Manuel Miranda has ever written. But one debate we need to have is what is the best casting in musical theater history of all time. Chris Jackson may be the best actor now or ever that is going to play George Washington, and he proves it over and over again in this musical, but maybe nowhere better than in this incredible number. This is Chris Jackson performing One Last Time.
Mr. President, you asked to see me. I know you're busy. What do you need, sir? Sir?
I want to give you a word of warning.
Sir, I don't know what you heard, but whatever it is, Jefferson started it.
Thomas Jefferson resigned this morning.
You're kidding.
I need a favor.
Whatever you say, sir, Jefferson will pay for his behavior.
Talk less.
I'll use the press, I'll write under a pseudonym. You'll see what I can do to him.
I need you to draft an address.
Yes, he resigned. You can finally speak your mind.
No, he's stepping down so he can run for president.
Ha! Good luck defeating you, sir.
I'm stepping down, I'm not running for president.
I'm sorry, what?
One last time. Relax, have a drink with me. One last time. Let's take a break tonight and then we'll teach him how to say goodbye. To say goodbye, you and I want to talk about neutrality.
Sir, with Britain and France on the verge of war, is this the best time?
I want to warn against partisan fighting. Pick up a pen, start writing. I want to talk about what I have learned, the hard-won wisdom I have earned.
As far as the people are concerned, you have to serve. You could continue to serve.
No, one last time. The people will hear from me one last time. And if we get this right, we're gonna teach them how to say goodbye. You and I.
Mr. President, they will say you're weak.
No, they will see we're strong.
Your position is so unique.
So I'll use it to move them along.
Why do you have to say goodbye?
If I say goodbye, the nation learns to move on. It outlives me when I'm gone. Like the scripture says, everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. They'll be safe in the nation we've made. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree, a moment alone in the shade, at home in this nation we've made. One last time.
One last time. Though in reviewing the incidents of my administration, I am unconscious of intentional error, I am nevertheless too sensible of my defects not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors. I shall also carry with me the hope that my country will view them with indulgence, and that after 45 years of my life dedicated to its service with an upright zeal, the faults of incompetent abilities will be consigned to oblivion, as I myself must soon be to the mansions of rest.
I anticipate with pleasing expectation that retreat in which I promise myself to realize the sweet enjoyment of partaking in the midst of my fellow citizens, the benign influence of good laws under a free government, ever favorite object of my heart, and the happy reward as I trust of our mutual cares, labors, and dangers. One last time.
George Washington's going home.
Teach him how to say goodbye.
George Washington's going home.
You and I. Say goodbye, say goodbye, say goodbye one last
Oh, look at the man. That face. God. What a freaking performance. Jesus. Yeah, there are so many things we need to talk about with this. God, absolutely. Chris Jackson, my God, the man. All right, there are some comments we need to make. Let's go back to the beginning and we'll watch it again.
Mr. President, you asked to see me.
I know you're busy.
What do you need, sir? Sir?
I want to give you a word of warning.
Sir, I don't know what you heard, but whatever it is, Jefferson started it.
Thomas Jefferson resigned this morning.
You're kidding.
I need a favor.
Whatever you say, sir, Jefferson will pay for his behavior.
Talk less.
I'll use the press, I'll write under a pseudonym. You'll see what I can do to him.
I need you to draft an address.
Yes, he resigned. You can finally speak your mind.
No, he's stepping down so he can run for president.
Good luck defeating you, sir.
I'm stepping down, I'm not running for president.
I'm sorry, what?
I love this. These two on stage together. I mean, they're good friends off stage. On stage together, they just it's such a magical scene between the two of them. They do play off each other really quite well. That's why, new people coming into these roles, I've talked about it ad nauseum before, new people coming into these roles, will they have that same chemistry? And does it come off? Does it just jump off the stage or jump off the screen in this case, as much as it does with these two in it? I really hope it does, for the sake of people still spending how much on tickets to watch this show. Look, I love the difference between, there are problems. There are a lot of problems here of really, making George Washington seem like a cool president, or making Washington, putting him up on this pedestal. There are dangers in that. I get it. He wasn't perfect. None of us are. But this aspect here, I love that really Lynn focuses on celebrating this aspect of George Washington, that he was able to recognize that he needs to step away. They removed themselves from the British monarchy. It's not a one person job until the day you die. Washington recognizes that and really needs to step away from it. And that is, I know there's going to be maybe a lot of comments on this video of people saying that it's troubling to really look at George Washington in such a positive light. I get that aspect, but you also need to me, focus on just that for this number. Celebrate him for at least recognizing when and that he actually needs to be able to step away.
One last time.
Oh, that voice.
Relax, have a drink with me. One last time. Let's take a break tonight, and then we'll teach him how to say goodbye. To say goodbye, you and I want to talk about neutrality.
Sir, with Britain and France on the verge of war, is this the best time?
I want to warn against partisan fighting. Pick up a pen, start writing. I want to talk about what I have learned, the hard-won wisdom I have earned.
As far as the people are concerned, you have to serve. You could continue to serve.
No, one last time. The people will hear from me one last time. And if we get get this right.
Always love that little break in his voice there is just so perfect. It makes it just so much more emotional and just kind of makes you fall for his voice even more. There are, like I said at the top, there are perfect castings, and then there's this casting. There's just, Lin had to have had Chris in his mind the entire time when he's writing this role. I mean, from their days of In the Heights together, like I said, they're good friends, but he had to have been able to visualize while writing this number, yeah, this is going to be Chris. I can just see Chris absolutely taking this number to town. And boy, does he ever. The tone of that voice is just so smooth. It is like, I mean, I'm a huge whiskey fan. It is like the finest glass of whiskey. It's the only way I can describe it. It's just so smooth and goes down just perfectly.
I'm gonna teach them how to say goodbye. You and I.
Mr. President, they will say you're weak.
No, they will see we're strong.
Your position is so unique.
So I'll use it to move them along.
Why do you have to say goodbye?
If I say goodbye, the nation learns to move on. It outlives me when I'm gone. Like the scripture says, everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. They'll be safe in the nation we've made. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree, a moment alone in the shade, at home in this nation we've made, one last time.
I just love seeing Lin in the background, getting to watch Chris at work here, and just what is he thinking in that moment? Of course, yeah, he's in character, whatever, at least I hope he is, but in that moment, is he just looking at Chris being like, man, I wrote something so special here, and he is just taking it up to the stratosphere of what I thought was possible of this number. I really want to know what he's thinking in that moment, because it is smart that the reference to speeches of George Washington's speeches and scriptures and just so many things, so much history and so much that Lin compiles into this musical is just so smart and so special, and that's what makes it possibly, one of the best pieces of art I've ever seen on stage, and you may see for quite a long time. It just points to the brain that Lin has. Is just so smart the way he thinks, and we're just you can't be anything but grateful the fact that we are alive at a time when Lin, a mind like Lin, is giving us just art like this.
Though in reviewing the incidents of my administration, I am unconscious of intentional error, I am nevertheless too sensible of my defects not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors. I shall also carry with me the hope that my country will view them with indulgence, and that after 45 years of my life dedicated to its service with an upright zeal, the faults of incompetent abilities will be consigned to oblivion, as I myself must soon be to the mansions of rest. I anticipate with pleasing expectation that retreat in which I promise myself to realize the sweet enjoyment of partaking in the midst of my fellow citizens, the benign influence of good laws under a free government, the ever-favorite object of my heart, and the happy reward, as I trust, of our mutual cares, labors, and dangers, one last time.
It is, like I've said this entire number, it is something special to be able to, someone like, if you look at maybe Hamilton's character, maybe wouldn't have it in him to really step up and say, look, someone else has got to lead us. Someone else has to take over. There needs to be a new point of view in this country that really, because like he says, the country is going to outlive you when you're gone. There needs to be a new voice and a new direction. It is what, I don't want to get too political. I don't know whatever you think, whatever your impressions are of the U.S. political system. It is a pillar of democracy that really has yet to waver. As divided as the country maybe is currently, especially, they stand true. They stand true by honoring election results. They stand true by not wavering from the policies and the way of choosing their government they've put out from the beginning. They do not waver from that. As imperfect as it may be, it maybe represents the true will of the people. And right now, the true will of the people, I didn't want to get political. Right now, the true will of the people is entirely divided. And as much as that is painful to watch, it's also okay. It's also the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to allow the citizens to voice their opinion the way they see fit. And that, and a lot of times it is going to be 50-50. It's almost right down the middle that so many people think one way and so many people think another way. All that to say that this man should be remembered as the one president who did not let power or corruption go to his head, that he was able to step down, after freeing themselves from the king that we look at in this show, freeing themselves from that he's able to step out of himself, look at the whole country and say, you need a new voice. I've done all I can to bring you to this point. Now it's time for someone else to step in and take over. And that's a very difficult thing to do. It doesn't have to be the presidency. It doesn't have to be such a high position as that. In any position, it takes someone special to be able to step down and say, maybe I don't have all the answers. Maybe I need some help here. Maybe there's someone else who can come in who can do this better. And I can't think of a better song or a better performance or a better actor to end 2022 on. This has just been, it's absolutely so incredibly fitting. 2022 has been great. Thank you so much for all your support on this channel. I'm going to let Chris Jackson close our video here just because he's that good. He does need to have the final word. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, join me at my Patreon page. I'm Marc Daniel Patrick. Happy New Year, and I can't wait to see you all back in 2023. All right, let's let the man close out our final video of the year one last time.
Teach them how to say goodbye.
George Washington's going home.
Say goodbye, say goodbye, say goodbye one last time.